What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to FudgeMuppet. My name is Scott, and today we have a fantastic new lore video for you, one that was actually suggested by a fan of ours on a previous video. So if you too have any ideas or video requests, feel free to share them with us. But let's dive right in. Today we are talking about the Jarls, the rulers of Skyrim. As you experience the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim adventuring through the different holds and cities of the land, you will likely have come in contact with the rulers of these various places. These rulers are called Jarls. So a Jarl is the top dog politically in their city and hold, and they only answer to the High King of Skyrim, who also answers to the Imperial Empire and the Emperor. But of course, the outcome of the Civil War may indeed change that part. Regardless, we will be talking about the Jarls in their current pre-Civil War conclusion states. So as a Jarl, it isn't all about courtly feasting and parading your grandeur through the streets of the city. There is much political strife to deal with, especially at this time, and to assist with this, the Jarl has many officials to help. The Jarl's steward manages public relations and acts as a substitute for the Jarl in more miscellaneous affairs like business and property, rather than burdening the Jarl with every minor decision. The Jarl's court wizard assists them in the affairs of the arcane, lending their magical knowledge and expertise to help solve any magical mysteries or queries that the Jarl may need answers for. Thanes are the Jarl's nobles, appointed by the Jarl, and serving as advisors and counselors. Housecarls are the personal bodyguards of the noble class. Jarls and Thanes are often accompanied by and protected by such housecarls. And then of course there is the guard captain, and the guards who serve as the protection and enforcement of the Jarl and his holdings. The title of Jarl itself is hereditary, meaning that it is passed down from parent to child, and it is not strictly patrilineal, meaning that the eldest, regardless of gender, can inherit the throne. So now that everyone is caught up on what a Jarl is and does, let's delve into the Jarls of the 9 holds in Skyrim, beginning with one everyone would be very, very familiar with, Jarl Balgruuf the Greater. Jarl Balgruuf is one of the first Jarls that you will encounter on your journey. His younger brother Hrognar is a devoted warrior and remains true to the traditions and Nordic customs. Balgruuf himself has 3 children, Frothar, Dagny, and Nelkir. It seems that Balgruuf's wife is no longer in the picture, presumably dead, but it is interesting that Nelkir mentions he does not have the same mother as Frothar and Dagny, indicating some unfaithfulness on the part of Balgruuf perhaps. Regardless of his private affairs, Jarl Balgruuf is first and foremost loyal to Whiterun and its people, and seems to remain what most would describe as a true Nord. He secretly worships Talos and despises the Thalmor as much as the Stormcloaks do, but he ultimately comes to support the Empire, making what he thinks is a far more practical decision. However, this could be out of spite towards Ulfric, considering that they have had an ongoing animosity between them. Balgruuf ultimately is a noble man with strong bonds, like that with his brother, his housecarl Irileth, his steward Avanici, and ultimately Whiterun itself. It is these strong bonds and care for his people that inspires great loyalty from the people of Whiterun. If we decide to travel west past Lake Ilinalta into the forested lush lands of Falkreath, we will find where Jarl Siggeir resides, having taken over the position of Jarl from his now old uncle Denegir of Stun. Siggeir would say he took over because of Denegir's old age and frailty. However, Denegir would say Siggeir's placement as Jarl was an imperial plot because of his favourable opinion of them, which seems that considering Siggeir is a rather pompous brat who boasts about his hunting, drinking and feasting, and his rather relaxed style of living, letting his steward Nenya take care of his duties, he is not the usual picturesque depiction of a strong and powerful Jarl leading his people. As we travel to the furthest edge of Skyrim, we end up at the Reach, the hold of which Markov stands as a unique hidden gem of a city. Markov itself is an ancient Dwemer city, and is home to Jarl Igmund, a staunch supporter of the Empire and desperate to keep the peace with the Empire and the Thalmor. He's prepared to put the past of the Great War behind him, especially considering the ongoing Forsworn threat that he has to deal with in his homeland. But I feel as if the Forsworn problems will continue on for as long as the Nords live in the Reach. Further north, we have the capital city of Skyrim, Solitude, and the hold surrounding it, Hafengar. currently ruled by Jarl Elisif the Fair. Her husband was the late High King Torrig, who was murdered by Ulfric Stormcloak, leaving his wife to rule alone. It would seem she is out of her element as a sole ruler, and her inexperience disadvantages her, leaving many courtly duties to her steward Fork Firebeard, and the council of General Tullius is one of her major influences. At this point in time, it would seem Jarl Elisif is there symbolically as a Jarl, but the true power here is the Imperial Legion. Heading back east, we will cross the marshy terrain of Hjormark. Within this frozen marshland is the city of Morthal, where an old wise woman rules. Jarl Igrod Ravencrone is a supporter of the Empire and an apparent seer and psychic. Patient and wise, she rules confidently and well, but her people do sometimes question her, considering her eccentric personality and affiliation with magic. She does, however, share the sentiment of many Nords with great disgust towards the Thalmor for their ruthless and treacherous nature. Her husband Asilfur is her steward, and with him she has 2 children, Igrod the Younger and Yorick. Igrod the Younger is to inherit the throne when her mother passes on. Now we leave the Empire-friendly territory, arriving in the lands of the Pale, with its heart being Dawnstar, home to Jarl Skuld the Elder. His family, the Felgeifs, have been the Jarls of Dawnstar for many generations. Skuld himself has ruled for 35 years, since before the Great War with the Aldmeri Dominion. He is a grumpy, angry old man who is sour, and rightly so, after the White Gold Concordat was signed by the Empire, which he had to live through. He is a strong supporter of Ulfric Stormcloak and wishes to see the Empire gone from Skyrim. He even believes the dragons have been sent as a punishment by Talos. He butts heads often with 2 Imperial Legion veterans residing in the city, and interestingly enough, it seems that most of the citizens of Dawnstar remain relatively neutral towards the war, not sharing in the Jarl's zealous fire. Further along the coast, we will reach the lands of Winterhold, where the Stormcloak supporting Jarl Corrir resides with his wife Thaina and their child Asser. Corrir does not like the College of Winterhold's presence and is greatly soured by the Great Collapse, likely blaming the magics of the college, and generally he holds a grudge against magic. He refuses to abandon his home even though his city is a shell of its former self, refusing to see the damage this does to his child's well-being. But alas, you can respect the loyalty to his ancestors and his home. Now, before we deal with the most important of all the Jarls, let's head on over to the Rift and talk about Riften's current Jarl, Jarl Laelia Lawgiver. Laelia wants first and foremost to rule Riften justly and make a good Jarl, but she seems completely oblivious to the crime-ridden features of her city, even regarding Maven Blackbriar as an ideal citizen, ignorant of her devious dealings and interactions with both the Thieves Guild and the Dark Brotherhood. She supports the Stormcloaks loyally, a sentiment she shares with her oldest son Harold, but her youngest son Saoland is not so fond of them. Instead, he speaks of the Imperial's good graces. Laelia thinks Saoland is possessed or crazy, to which she responds by getting her court wizard to treat him and find the reason. Another example of her ignorance, her son couldn't of course have a different opinion. He must be insane. A woman with noble intentions, but her ignorance and beliefs could be clouding the very real state of things from her understanding of the world. Now, Ulfric Stormcloak, the Bear of Markov, hero, murderer, patriot, opportunist, true Nord, dishonorable, freedom fighter, egoist. All of these words can be and have been used by people to describe Jarl Ulfric Stormcloak. He is a veteran of the Great War with the Aldmeri Dominion, having been captured and tortured by the Thalmor themselves. He fought for the land of Skyrim, only to return to a land of strangers wearing familiar faces. This is what Ulfric experienced. He even helped Markov be rid of the Forsworn occupation, only to be branded a Talos-worshipping criminal. He even had to deliver his eulogy at his father's funeral via letter smuggled out of prison. But murdering the High King Torrig, or challenging, depending on who you ask, was a rather cruel decision, especially considering that Torrig actually sympathized with Ulfric's sentiments about the Empire and the Thalmor. Perhaps he would have been willing to even claim independence, but alas, that is not how the story goes, and Ulfric Stormcloak is currently the reason Skyrim is split in half, with the Eastern Holds fighting for independence from the Empire, whom Ulfric believes are weak traitors who sold out their people to the Aldmeri Dominion by accepting the White Gold Concordat. Ulfric wishes to see Skyrim free from the elves and the Empire, free to worship Talos and rule their own destinies. What is even more interesting about Ulfric is his remarkable ability to use the thumb. In his early life, Ulfric went to High Hrothgar to learn the voice and eventually become a greybeard, but the call of the Great War to defend what he held dear was too strong. I feel that Ulfric is one of the most well-rounded and developed characters in the whole game of Skyrim. His history, his motivations, even if misplaced, are really well developed, making him a very good, flawed character. Well, now you know about all the Jarls of Skyrim. This didn't even include all of the potential Jarls that can change depending on who you side with in the Civil War. Perhaps you guys might like to see some more in-depth biography like lore videos on some of the Jarls or even characters like Maven Blackbriar. We really do listen to you guys and we want to hear what you want to see, so give this video a like if you enjoyed it and head on down into the comments and hit us up with some suggestions. Thanks so much for watching. My name's Scott and I'll be back to nerd out with you again next time.